It's so nice to see when the news just comes out of nowhere. And that's what happened today. Just out of nowhere, this news broke. Honestly, it like took me by surprise too. I was like, "What?" I was like, "April Fool's Day, man. That's been almost what 3 weeks ago, right?" I was like, "No way," but there you have it. Um, I already covered this news regarding the Xbox reduced price on Xbox Game Pass, which, quite frankly, they should have never increased it to begin with. But now we know why they increased it. It was because of Call of Duty. So it was true. It was because of Call of Duty. And this also begs the question of what happened there, you know, because I know Phil Spencer has been working really hard to get the acquisition, to get the Call of Duty, and he's been, vouching for Call of Duty to be on a day one release. And what happened? I would like to know what happened behind the closed doors. That's what I would like to know. I think all of us would like to know what happens behind the closed doors, but we can only speculate. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. You know, Phil Spencer, he's not a CEO anymore. Listen, I just want to say this regarding Phil Spencer. I already talked about it. I already mentioned this. Yes, he has saved the Xbox. No one should argue that. In 2013, he has reshaped and redefined Xbox in past 12 years, and we can't just overlook that. Okay, because of him, we have Game Pass. Because of him, we can play Xbox games on PC and the cloud. He has reshaped so many different things. Now, was there some mistakes made? Look, we're all humans. We all make mistakes. Was there missed opportunities? Absolutely, there was. There was missed opportunities, and I talked about those missed opportunities. But the one thing we cannot take away from Phil Spencer is what he has contributed to the Xbox in the past 12 years. How he reshaped this brand. Because you have to remember, back in 2013, as I already have mentioned this, Xbox was on a verge of like going out of business. It was really that bad in 2013 with the release of Xbox One. And he was able to reshape it and reimagine the whole thing. So let's give the man a credit. Got to give the man a credit for what he has achieved. Sure, I don't agree with everything that he has done. I don't agree with everything that he has said. I don't agree with every decision he made. But we can't ignore the fact that he has reshaped this brand and made this brand what it is today. Okay, so we can't ignore that. Now, moving on to Asha Sharma, the new CEO of Xbox. Okay, so on the Twitter, Truth Social Media, she had actually posted this 7 hours ago. It's Asha Shar, Asha Sharma. Game Pass Ultimate has become too expensive for too many players. Starting today, we're dropping the price from $29.99 to $22.99 a month, which would be $23 a month. Future Call of Duty titles will no longer join Game Pass Ultimate on day one. They will join this tier the following holiday after launch, about a year later. Current Call of Duty titles will remain available to Ultimate subscribers. We'll keep learning and evolving Game Pass to better match what matters to players. And see, here's what she's doing right. Not only she's listening to our feedback and to what we want, but she's acting on it very quickly. She's acting on it very quickly. Okay, and I think that is the one unique feature that she has that perhaps Phil Spencer didn't have. Look, listen. I don't want to go back to Phil Spencer because that would be like a separate video that I would have to make about him. In the beginning, Phil Spencer has done some great things, but I don't know what happened to him. Somewhere along the way, he became too much of a suit and corporate, if you will. He was like always looking on profit, like business, like and he because what we really liked about him was the fact that he was in a suit, and he doesn't wear a suit, but sometimes he does on special occasions. But he was never like a suit business guy, like let's say Jim Ryan, right, from PlayStation. Phil Spencer was a programmer, was a video game designer. He worked at Microsoft for a long time. He's been with the company for a long time, and um, he was a gamer. He still is a gamer. So we looked at him as like he's one of us. He's like a gamer. People play with him because he would let people become friends on his Xbox P3 uh, profile, and you could play with him on Xbox Live on the console or on the PC. And he is a gamer. He was a gamer. He is a gamer. And we always looked at him as like, well, he's one of us. He's the gamer, right? Just like we are the gamer, he's a gamer. And he, in the beginning, 2014, 15, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, he certainly had made some great changes to the brand. But after 2020, I don't know, man. It's like around 2021, 2022, it almost seems like he became more like a like corporate tool where he only cares about the business. And then he forgot the important part, which is the gamers, you know. And that's just my look on it, my perspective. I could be wrong. Like I said, we don't know what transpired and why did he resign. Okay, first of all, he was not fired. Okay, he decided to resign. But what forced him to resign? Maybe he didn't want to do this. Maybe he didn't want to raise the price. You see, there's a flip side to some of the stuff, to that story, to the coin. They're all saying there's a flip side to that coin. How do we know that Phil Spencer wanted to raise the price? We don't know. Maybe he didn't want to do it. Maybe he was against it. But the investors and the powers to be, the own corporation on the Microsoft, running the corporation of the Microsoft, maybe they forced his hand, that they told him like you have to. And then maybe he decided, well, I don't want to. I don't want to be part of this. Um, I don't know. Look, I guess we'll never know what I'm trying to say. I guess we'll never know what really happened. But clearly something happened. And then Sarah Bond leaves. When he leaves, they both resign. I think clearly something happened behind the closed doors. And then Asha Sharma comes in, and now she's making all the decisions. She's a shaker and mover. But here's what I don't understand. How come she can make those decisions so easily and Phil Spencer was not able to make those decisions so easily? Because I can't imagine that Phil Spencer was okay with raising the price to $30 a month. Knowing what I know about the man and what we all know about him, I just can't imagine that it was his call. But then again, she steps in, Asha steps in, and just like that, dude, just like that, She's a shaker and a mover. She's making all these decisions. How does that happen? How does that work out? I'm just asking a question. People say you think too much. Well, that's what you're supposed to do. Because I ask questions like any journalist would. You're going to ask some very important questions. Well, what happened here? You know, when you investigate something, you're looking at all kinds of dots that are not connected, and they need to be connected. And to me, this is the one dot that it's not connected, which is how come he leaves? They both resign. Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer. They both resign. She comes in, and she's already making all these decisions. Look, I'm happy that she's making all these decisions. This is all great, and I'm very happy for this. But I'm also asking some questions like, how does this work? She steps in, and all of a sudden, like a magic wand, all of these decisions are being made. It's an interesting question, So what happened? That's what I'm asking. Like, Phil Spencer's been there for 12 years. And after 12 years, right? What went wrong? How is it possible that he was not able to reduce the Xbox Game Pass price? He leaves, Sarah Bond leaves, they resign, she comes in, and then all of a sudden, she's the shaker, she's the mover. All of a sudden, all of these decisions are just being made like that. I don't know, it's just an interesting question. Look, but I'm happy for her. I'm happy that she's in charge. And this is going to be a pretty significant win for the Xbox. There's no question about it. This is a pretty significant win for the Xbox. You will get a lot of people excited for Xbox. And this is a great win for Xbox. So I'm pretty happy about this. And I just wanted to make this video just to read her statement of what she said. So, yeah. This is a great year for Xbox. And I think next year, with Project Helix, it will be even better. Okay? Alright, guys. Well, there you have it. Yet another video. I just felt like I needed to, give you my reaction to her statement and talk a little bit about Phil Spencer and then, Asha Sharma and how she steps in. She gets appointed and he leaves. Sarah Bond leaves, and it's just like I'm just asking some questions. That's all. All right. It's been a long day. I'm telling you guys. But actually, if you're asking me what is this, this is this cursor that you see. This is something that it's included with the latest update on the Windows preview program. Alright, so this is the announcement officially here. From the Xbox Wire. And don't forget, the Xbox Game Pass for PC, it's only $13.99. Don't forget that, it's only $13.99. All right, well, what a great news. April 21st, 2026, okay? Like I said earlier on my video, I'm very happy for this news, and this really gets me excited for Xbox, and I mean, look at all these games coming up. I want to play this Aphelion. So there's all these games coming out pretty soon. All right. Well, there you have it, guys. That's the video. And thank you for watching.